And thank you for your patience as we had a few technical difficulties before starting. I'd like to welcome you to our first Cerritos Complete Information Night for our incoming freshman class. This is very exciting for us. My name is Colleen McKinley, and I'm the Director of Educational Partnerships and Programs here at Cerritos College. We are excited to have our newest students and their family members join us this evening as you are preparing for a huge milestone in your life, enrolling and attending college. So our Cerritos Complete team has prepared an informative evening for you, and I'm fortunate to have such a dynamic team. You're going to get to meet them in just a little bit. After the presentation, we will have time for questions, and you will be able to put those in the Q&A feature within Zoom. But before we begin, I also have the privilege of introducing the president of Cerritos College, Dr. Jose Fierro, who will also be welcoming you this evening. Dr. Fierro, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Colleen, and good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure and an honor to be with you. This is one of the events. Obviously, this one is different since we're doing it virtual, but this is one of the events that I always be sure that is placed on my calendar, because I do enjoy having the opportunity to welcome you as future Cerritos College students and your parents and family that may be tuning in with you today. I think going to college and entering Cerritos College in particular, it's something that we value as a family affair, if you will. We want to ensure that we are like a family that care for each other on campus, but we want to make sure that your family and your support system at home is part of what we do. So thank you for being here today. What is in it for you to come into Cerritos? What is in it for you is one, if you come and meet me, once we are on campus, and I said this every year, and I only had a handful of students take me, and they offer, I will take you for lunch. I will take you to our restaurant at the Culinary Arts, one of our programs that we have on campus. So once we can do that, if you come and see me at my office and you tell me that you were in this event, I will take you for lunch, and you'll have a really good time. The food is great. You may not have such a great time talking with me based on the age difference and so on, but you'll have a great time eating there, and you'll enjoy everything that our students do in the culinary art program. But really, what is in it for you and Cerritos Complete is a new way to bring you into campus, to ensure that you become connected from day one, to ensure that you have familiar faces that you can go to when you have a challenge or when you're confused and where you don't know how to navigate college. For many of us, including me, going to college wasn't easy, right? You find a lot of obstacles, and you find really nice people that help you overcome some of the challenges that you experience in college. And for some of us, like it happened to me, sometimes it takes you a little longer to find those individuals that will help you to overcome the challenges. But reflecting on that is why we put the structure of Cerritos Complete, because you should not have to wait until you find that connection to help you navigate college or to overcome challenges. What we want to do is help you build that connection right away, today. The individuals that you will see today during the webinar, they are here for you, and they have a track record of being here for the students. I cannot think of one time, not even one time, in which any one of individuals at the Cerritos Complete team have not gone out of their way to ensure that our students get what they need. And what's in it for your parents when they come to Cerritos Complete? Well, we waive your tuition, and there are a number of services that you will be able to access based on Cerritos Complete. The goal for us, what is in it for us? The goal for us is for you to complete your education in a timely manner. That is what we get out of this. Why we want to do that? Because we know that education is important for you, it's important for us, and it's important for our communities. And most importantly, it's important for your families and a way to move ahead, right? To get that social mobility that we all aspire to. I can tell you without a doubt that if it wasn't because I was pushed to go to college and help every step of the way, I probably wouldn't be sitting here with you today. As I said earlier, we all have challenges going through college, and I wasn't the exception to that. So I know it can be done, and it can be done by building those connections and making friends along the way. So I hope that you enjoy the presentation this evening. I want to thank the entire Cerritos Complete team because of the work they do and their dedication. I think they have worked probably harder than ever before during the pandemic, and they have not slowed down. They have found ways to continue to reach out and serve our students, and because of that, I'm very appreciative. So again, my name is Jose Fierro. I'm the President and Superintendent of Cerritos College, and I wanted to reiterate, once we open back and we're on campus and we're able to use the culinary arts restaurant to have lunch, if you come and see me, I will take you for lunch, and I guarantee you will have a great meal and a good time. So thank you and have a great evening. Back to you, Colleen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fierro, for taking time this evening to join us and welcome our new families. And he is serious with his offer. So I can't wait to see you in the restaurant with your students. So I'd like now to turn it over to the Dynamic Cerritos Complete team, who is going to share a lot of information this evening. Previously, when I was doing the welcome, if you've just joined us, we do have a Q&A feature, but we're going to ask that we field the questions at the end of the webinar, because we are hoping that we're answering most of your questions throughout. So please feel free to put them in there, but we will pause at the end to answer those questions. And so with that, I'm gonna turn it over to the team, who will introduce themselves prior to going over their information.
My name is Raquel Lazaraga, and I'm the coordinator for educational partnerships and programs. And as you can tell, you can't see my face because I'm also having technical issues with that too. So we're just gonna jump ahead to our next slide, and we're gonna talk about today's event. So today we're gonna be discussing the program requirements for Cerritos Complete. We're gonna be talking about your education plans for summer and fall semester. We're going to be discussing registration and enrolling into your classes. And we're going to highlight all these amazing resources that are available to you. So we just want to highlight our benefits. Dr. Fierro mentioned some of these, but in our program, you receive 2 years free tuition. We pay the in-state rates, and we also pay other fees. And we'll talk about those other fees in the next slide. And a big benefit of our program is the 2 years priority enrollment. This means you're enrolling earlier than other students, and this will greatly help you get those math and English classes that you need, as well as your other classes. Our program does a lot of step-by-step assistance. We have a lot of one-on-one counseling. We have a lot of college preparedness, and we do a lot of career exploration as well. And all of our students in the program are required to take counseling courses, which will prepare you as well. And all of the students in our program will be receiving personalized education plans from the counselor. So the Cerritos Complete fees, we do pay the enrollment fees and we pay the in-state rates. We also pay your student health fees and your student activity fees. And these are fees that we pay every semester that you're participating in the program. And so we want to highlight the students are paying $4 to $6 a year only. So for summer, you pay $2, fall $2, and spring $2. And so there are a couple other fees that students may be paying, such as book fees, class or lab fees, when we're back on campus, the parking pass, and the non-resident tuition fees if applicable. And so we wanted to show you what it looks like in your Mycerritos account. So we put 2 examples of that. It'll either show as Cerritos Complete Scholarship, AB19, and it'll tell you the semester, or it will show as CC Promise Grant B, Enrollment Waiver. So when you go into your Mycerritos account, this is what you are looking for, and it'll show that your fees have been paid. And we just wanted to briefly go over your 5 eligibility steps to be accepted into the program, because the students do need to be completing all these steps by the deadline in order to be accepted in. So step 1 is submitting the Cerritos College Summer 21 application. Step 2 is submitting their FAFSA or DREAM Act application for 21-22, and also submitting the additional paperwork to our college financial aid department. Step 3 is that you submitted the intent form to let us know that you are interested. And step 4 is submitting your placement forms for your math and English and reading classes. And Clara is going to be going over the next step, which is step 5.
Thank you, Ms. Raquel. Hello, everyone. Hi, families. My name is Clara Ross Jones, and I am a career and academic counselor here at the college. And I'm also the point counselor for the Cerritos Complete program. So you'll see me in many of our counseling drop-ins and orientations, as well as workshops that we have once you are on campus with us in fall and spring. So step 5 is where many of you are in terms of completion. So if you've done it already, yay. This is the orientation step where you are completing your workshop with us and your one-on-one counseling appointment. So the workshop provides a ton of foundational information in terms of what does it mean to get an associate? What do you need for transfer? We talk about support programs that are available on campus. We talk about registration. We have peer breakouts where you're hearing from some of our student ambassadors about learning about Mycerritos and Schedule Plus and just other programs that are on campus. So it's really good to meet other students as well in terms of that environment. And then you will go to a 30-minute appointment where you will talk to a counselor individually about your own goals. So I'm looking to get my certification. I would like to transfer to a UC. I want to get my associates in welding, right? So what your individual goal will be. So if you've done both of those, that's great. We definitely know that there are some students who've completed the workshop and still are in need of appointment. So please try to come in as soon as you can, or you may still need to do both. And you can sign up for those on our counseling website. So if you just go to counseling, there will be a link to Falcon Edge orientations, and you'll see our offerings throughout the month of May. And then you will see some offerings in June, but sooner rather than later, especially if you're looking to take our summer courses, as those will be starting at the end of this month. And then we are quickly approaching our fall registration. So we want to make sure that everyone gets through their orientation and their appointment before fall registration. Ms. Mary Lou, thank you. So in the summer, we will be offering our Counseling 101B course, which is required of all the students in the program. It is a 1-week course in the summer. It's 4 days. There are some that are taught online for those who want to go at their own pace, but most of them are taught in a hybrid format where we will be engaging on Zoom for 4 days, 2 hours each day, so 1 week. And again, we are giving you more information about career and major exploration. We're talking about important policies and procedures that you need to know as you transfer. We're talking about what do you need to get ready for that first week of school. You know, if your classes are going to be online, or if it's going to be hybrid, if it's going to be on ground, what does that mean? So we spend a lot of time connecting that way. The class is taught by 2 counselors, and you'll get to connect with your other students. We have breakout groups where you all are connecting with other business majors, nursing majors, right? So that you can begin to build your community as well as a study group, right? So we're always encouraging, you know, finding, you know, buddies and pals to study with and start your own study group. Even before the semester starts, we want you to think about these things. So if you haven't signed up for that Counseling 101B course, feel free to make sure you do that. Again, they will start early June and go throughout the month of July, and they're only 1 week, 4 days, 2 hours each day. And you'll see a lot of variety in the choices of the weeks as well as the days, the times and the days, right? And then we are prepping, I'm sorry, just one other thing I wanted to add. We are prepping for our fall registration. So if you want to take a picture of the slide or make sure you make a note of it, but we will be registering for fall courses in early July. And so I know May is very busy as many of you are graduating and have tons of senior activities, but you definitely want to be checking your emails because you will constantly get information from financial aid, from counseling, reminders from the program. And one of those will be about your registration and when the schedule will become available and what day and time you'll actually be registering. So throughout May and early June, please make sure you're checking your email for that information. Thank you, Ms. Mary Lou.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your first year requirements. So as Clara was talking about, it is required for you to take the counseling class, and you could take it in summer or fall. We highly recommend that students take it in summer. So your first requirement would be to enroll and successfully pass that class. Students must also be completing the class assignment for CSEP, and that stands for Comprehensive Ed Plan. Your next requirement is that you are also required to enroll and successfully pass a math class and an English or English second language class in your fall semester. And you must take English, ESL, and math until you complete transfer level. An example of transfer level would be English 100, Math 112, or Psych 210. And so your fall semester could potentially be the counseling class, the math class, and the English class. All students are also required to maintain a 2.0 GPA or greater for your fall semester. And students are required to enroll themselves into their classes. So students will be enrolling for spring semester in the month of October. And every year, students in our program are required to submit a new FAFSA or DREAM Act applications. So you'll be starting a new application, and those open on October 1st. And students must complete all the requirements for fall in order to stay eligible for the program in the spring semester. And we do have all of our requirements listed on our website. And you could always check there if you want to make sure that you have, that you're aware of all the requirements. So next we're going to log into your Mycerritos account. So if you go to www.cerritos.edu, there is a button on the right hand, in the upper right hand called Quick Links. You use that and you enter your Cerritos ID and your password. And as you notice on the screenshot, there is an option on how to reset your password in case you forgot. And then this is what it looks like once you logged on using the single sign-on portal. So you would be clicking on Mycerritos. And once you're in your Mycerritos account, we recommend that you click on Student Center because it's going to show you many of the things we're going to be asking you to look at. So on the next slide, you'll see what that looks like. And so this is a snapshot of your Mycerritos Student Center. So there's the Message Center, which we highly recommend you keep up to date on that. Below that is your academics. So you could actually search for classes, you could enroll in classes, you can see your week schedule. For example, the student has that class listed for this week. And below that is financial aid. You always want to check this area as well. Students do need to make sure they're checking to see if they have any holds or any items in their to-do list. You want to make sure you resolve all of your holds before you enroll. And so this student shows their enrollment dates as well, and this will be on your screen too. It'll always be in the yellow highlight. And this student shows that they have the priority enrollment date of April 27. So summer semester did start enrolling already, and you did receive your priority enrollment. So if you have not enrolled, in your counseling class, we highly recommend you do that as soon as possible. And for your fall semester, you will start enrolling in early June.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Gordon, and I am a program assistant from the Financial Aid Office. I am the Cerritos Complete Promise Program liaison. So if you ever have issues with your financial aid, or if you email Cerritos Complete about questions regarding financial aid, I'm usually the one that's responding. I'm excited to be here with you all today to go over our 4 easy steps to cash and where we are in the process so that when school starts in the fall, you have your financial aid disbursements. So the first step was to apply, which all of you have completed. So congrats to you all. The deadline was March 2nd to submit your FAFSA or DREAM Act. Don't forget that's going to be due each year that you're attending college. So as Raquel mentioned earlier, the next application for your second year is going to be out in October. So keep an eye out for that. Step 2 is to submit forms. So some students are still in this process. All students who have forms that need to be submitted have a pending financial aid task showing in their Mycerritos to-do center. Their Mycerritos Student Center to-do list. So if you have a to-do list item for financial aid, make sure to follow up with it. There is a link in the to-do list item, and I'll show you what that looks like in the next slide. Step 3, Step 3 is to review awards, and some students have already received them. This is actually the earliest that financial aid has awarded students. So if you've already completed step 2, then you should have received an email with your financial aid award notification offer. There will be a link in that email that you'll click and then review your awards. It's important to be aware that right now we've only awarded the Pell Grant and the Promise Grant fee waiver if you're eligible. We'll be awarding the Cal Grant to students who are eligible closer to July, and then you'll be fully awarded when school starts in August, as long as you have submitted all your forms. The last step is step 4, which is to receive disbursements, and that won't happen until school starts in the fall. So taking a little deeper look into step 2, for those of you who have not checked your to-do list yet, you'll want to make sure to navigate to my.cerritos.edu, log in and view your to-do list. If you see any items like the ones listed here on the right-hand side, you'll follow the link from your to-do list to log into your student forms account. Next slide. When you follow that link, it will prompt you to create your student forms account. This is a new platform that launched in 2020, and it's based off of the information that you submitted on your FAFSA or DREAM Act application. So it's important to use the exact spelling of your first and last name, the exact date of birth, social security number, and social security number. If you're a dreamer, you submitted a DREAM Act application, you wouldn't have a social security number to provide, you would be providing your DREAM Act ID number. If you are trying to create your account and you get an error code 1010, that just means that there's a mismatch of information. So you'd want to go back to your financial aid application and see the spelling and birth date and social that you provided so that you're providing the exact same one to create your account. The third step is to review your awards. So after you've created your account and you have completed the items that are listed, then we can award your financial aid. You're now going to be receiving an email with your financial aid awards provided in a link. So when you get an email that looks like this, it'll say that it is from financial aid. You'll follow the link to open your financial aid offer notification. And you'll notice first when you open your offer notification that it will show you direct costs. These are the fees that are being charged from Cerritos College, but through the Cerritos Complete Promise program, we are waiving your fees. So this will show you the amounts that Cerritos College is charging. And then as you move forward through the award notice, next slide, you'll also get a breakdown of indirect costs. Indirect costs are additional expenses that a full-time student may accrue while attending Cerritos College for a full academic year. It's important to notice that these are estimated amounts and that Cerritos College will never bill you for these expenses directly. So as an office, we're still anticipating that you'll have transportation costs, room and board costs, personal expenses, as well as books and supplies. And we estimate that a total of all those expenses for a full-time student is generally around $22,000 a year. However, if you are living at home, for example, and you're not being charged rent, you don't have to worry about that room and board estimated costs. So this is definitely an area that you as a family would want to talk with your student about and talk with your parents to better understand what kind of budget you'll need for transportation, housing, if you need housing while you're at Cerritos College, as well as personal expenses and books and supplies. The last section that you'll see is probably the most important section, and that is where you can review your grants and scholarships. It's important to remember that you will be initially awarded as a full-time student. So that means we're anticipating you being enrolled in at least 12 units, and you would be awarded for full-time enrollment. This is a screenshot of a student who was not enrolled full-time in the fall, but who was enrolled full-time in the spring. So some students may see that you're receiving more financial aid in the spring versus the fall. And that would just be because maybe you dropped a course in the fall, so your financial aid was reevaluated. Another thing to be aware of here is you'll also see if you're receiving the Cerritos College Promise Grant fee waiver. And as Raquel mentioned, you will see that fee waiver listed in your Mycerritos student account. And you'll also see that fee waiver listed here in your grants and scholarships. That particular item will never disperse because it is a fee waiver. It's not like the Pell Grant, where the Pell Grant, those are cash funds that will disperse to you as a student, and you can use to cover additional costs like room and board, personal expenses, and so on. Grants and scholarships listed here are gift aid, so that means that they do not need to be paid back. The amounts I mentioned are based on full-time enrollment. And the Cerritos College Promise Grant, there are 3 types of Promise Grants. Most of you will see Promise Grant B listed, and that's if you're receiving the grant through the FAFSA or California Dream Act, but there are other ways to be eligible for the fee waiver. If you're interested in seeing if you're eligible for the fee waiver because you weren't receiving it after you completed the FAFSA or Dream Act, you can always follow up with financial aid. And then finally, in addition to this information, we've also provided useful videos that are embedded into your financial aid award notification. For example, because this particular student is being offered the Cerritos College Promise Grant, we're providing videos that explain more about what that grant is and how it can be used. For example, if you were awarded a Cal Grant, you'll have videos on your offer with more information about the Cal Grant as well. Another thing to be aware of in terms of financial aid is satisfactory academic progress. SAP is something that students have to meet at the end of each term. For new students, typically you will meet SAP, or I shouldn't say that. For new students, we are not evaluating your SAP until you complete your first term. So after the fall 2021 semester, you'll be notified of your SAP status. SAP is a policy that requires students maintain the school's academic standards in order to continue receiving financial aid. This excludes the California College Promise Grant. So that fee waiver that I mentioned is excluded from these, but Pell Grant and Cal Grant eligibility, you do need to make sure that you're meeting SAP. So what is SAP? There are 3 items that you need to be aware of. First and foremost, you need to maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA, which means that you're getting a letter grade of C or better in your classes. Or I should say that you're getting an average of a C grade in all your classes, hopefully C or better. The second item is to maintain 67% unit completion, which means that of all the courses that you're attempting to take, that you are actually successfully completing 67% of those units. So that means you're getting an A, B, C, D credit or passing grade. You're not able to, anytime that you get an F, or if you've withdrawn from a course after the add drop deadline, that will start to count against your unit completion rate. And the third item is the maximum time frame requirement. And that basically means that in order to receive financial aid, we need to make sure that you're completing your program in a timely manner. So if your program says that it takes 2 years to complete this program, we will allow you to use 2.5 years to complete your program. If you go over 150% of the published program required unit time, that could put you in not meeting SAP. What happens if you don't meet SAP after a term? The first term that you're not meeting SAP, you will be notified through your message center on your Mycerritos Student Center, and you'll be told that you're on warning. While on warning, you'll continue to receive your financial aid, but if you do not meet SAP by the end of that next term, then you will be placed on disqualification. Once you're placed on disqualification, you're no longer able to receive financial aid. There is an opportunity to appeal. So anytime you are notified of being disqualified due to SAP, we recommend that you follow up with the appeal. And through the appeal, it allows you to explain your circumstances a little bit more to our office, and we'll reevaluate your situation to see if we can offer you financial aid. As I mentioned, at the end of each term, so that includes fall semester, spring semester, and summer, you'll be notified via your message center of your SAP status. So make sure to continue to check that. And my last slide is a couple things that I wanted to make sure that you're aware of. All this information is provided on our website at cerritos.edu/finaid. But with the pandemic, we understand that a lot of household financial situations have changed. So as you may remember, when you were completing the 21 to 22 FAFSA or DREAM Act, you were providing income information from 2019. 2019 sounds like such a beautiful, distant dream from here, but that is what is being used to evaluate whether or not you're getting the fee waiver, whether or not you're getting the Pell Grant, Cal Grant. And if your household income has changed since 2019, so if your parents either lost their job or they were furloughed, maybe their hours were reduced or they had a pay cut during COVID, we can reevaluate your financial aid eligibility. There are 2 ways that we can reevaluate the information that you provided on the FAFSA or DREAM Act. The first is through a family contribution appeal. So as I mentioned, it's based off of 2019 income information. And if you have a special circumstance, like a parent has lost their job, they experienced a reduction of hours or a pay cut, maybe they lost their health benefits or dental coverage, or maybe a family member got COVID and you had unexpected medical expenses. Maybe you had unexpected medical expenses not even related to COVID. Those are all things that we can consider through an appeal. Another type of appeal is a lot less common, but it's called the dependency appeal. And that is for students who have extenuating circumstances regarding their dependency status. So the FAFSA and DREAM Act, they determine students to be dependent, so dependent on parental care up until the age of 24. But we understand that not everyone's situation is that easy, right? So if you have extenuating circumstances regarding your dependency status, you may qualify for a financial aid appeal. You can either reach out to our office by emailing us or through the student forms page. So this would be the same portal that you're using to submit any documents we're requesting. And the website is provided at the bottom, cerritos.verifymyfafsa.com. And when you log in, you'll see a blue button in the upper right-hand corner that says request. And that's where you can request either a dependency appeal or a family contribution appeal. It'll ask you to provide a narrative. So you just want to let us know as much information as possible in that small paragraph of room that they give you. And then a financial aid tech will review that appeal request and follow up to request some additional documentation. On the right-hand side, this is more of a fun one. So for students who are Cal Grant recipients, and at this time, CSAC, who awards the Cal Grant, hasn't yet determined if you are or if you aren't eligible. They tend to do that in June. So you may see that you're conditionally eligible, or maybe you need to show high school graduation status. That tends to be a popular one because you haven't yet graduated from high school. You can check your current Cal Grant status through the Web Grants for Student portal, and I recommend that you do that, because if you are eligible for a Cal Grant, either B or C, and you enroll in 15 units, so that's beyond full-time enrollment is 12, but if you are receiving Cal Grant and you enroll in 15 units, you can receive up to $4,000 extra a year. It's called the Student Success Completion Grant. And what it's created for is really to help offset that fear of students leaving their work to go to school full time. So a lot of the times when we're deciding, are we going to go to a four-year, are we going to go to community college, students will say, I'm going to go to a community college because I want to work. I'm not going to be able to pay for school all by myself. But what you'll find is that, being a student takes a lot of time. So this grant may be enough to give you that extra $4,000 versus having to work while attending school. You would need to be enrolled in at least 15 units to receive the maximum amount of the Student Success Completion Grant. But if you are enrolled in at least 12 units, you'll receive a portion of that $4,000. And finally, I wanted to share with you our additional resources for connecting with us. Email is the best way to reach out. We also have phone services Monday through Friday, and we are also on Zoom. So if you have a question about financial aid, general questions, we're there Monday through Friday from 10 to 4 p.m. You can screen share with us. So if you're having an issue uploading documents in your student forms account, join our general Zoom sessions. We also are continuing to have our FAFSA and DREAM Act Zoom sessions. So if you need to make a correction or you have a question about your FAFSA or DREAM Act, you can still continue to visit us there as well. I manage the Cerritos Financial Aid Instagram, and I love connecting with you all through there. Feel free to DM. I respond within 24 to 48 hours, providing links and whatever info you're looking for. And then, of course, our best resource that's out there is our website. So everything that I've gone over today and more is found on our website. When you go to cerritos.edu/finaid, which is listed on the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that we have our links to our Zoom sessions, our contact information, as well as more information about submitting forms, types of financial aid, DREAM Act information, and SAP information as well. So please make sure to take some time to look around our website and reach out to us with any questions.
All right, so we just want to take a little time to talk about your Mycerritos account. And if you can follow along with us, it would be great for you to log in. You really want to get comfortable with your Mycerritos account. Everyone is always referring to, have you checked your Mycerritos? Did you look in your Mycerritos? So if you can log in and follow along with us, that would be great. It's where you will enroll and drop courses. It's where you'll pay the fees that Ms. Raquel talked about earlier. Once you start enrolling in your classes and getting grades, it's where you'll see your unofficial transcripts. It's where you take the English and the math placements. If you haven't taken those already, it's where you access the Student Center. So please take some time to log into your Mycerritos account if you can. I'm going to talk a little bit about if you've already gone to orientation and met with the counselor has created for you what we call a abbreviated educational plan. And so that is currently located under View My Academics. So we get this question often, like, oh, I met with the counselor, where's the plan? So just make a note that when you do meet with the counselor, if you haven't already, where we will save the plan is under View My Academics. And so you'll want to go right on that right-hand side down towards the end there and go ahead and click that button. Once you're in there, right, you will see what courses the counselor has planned for you. For many of the students who've gone through orientation, we have planned your summer. So of course, the Counseling 101B course, and then students may decide to take maybe one other course. When you are taking summer courses other than the counseling class, please take into consideration that the rigor of the summer courses is a little different than maybe you're used to. This is still a full, robust course that's being offered in the summer, except that it's an abridged time frame. So instead of it being our traditional 18 weeks, which is what our fall and our spring semesters are, it is the same amount of material, but in 6 weeks. And so, oftentimes students tell us that the material goes really fast, and if they miss one course, they miss a couple chapters. So make sure you're talking with the counselor about what classes you're thinking about in summer. I usually, with the counseling course, maybe only recommend one other course that you feel comfortable with the material jumping into, because we want to make sure that we have a nice balance in the summer with our coursework. And then the fall semester, usually many of our students are full-time, and I know we had some questions about what does that mean. Full-time is 12 units or more, so roughly 3 to 4 classes in the fall semester is a full-time student. And the students will be taking their English course, their math course. I always like to get a introductory course to their major, so an intro to business, an intro to psych, and then a general education course. So roughly 4 courses, and that is a full-time schedule. So when you're looking in there, make sure you're looking at your ed plan on the right semester. So you'll see summer, and then you will see the fall semester. And on the counseling website under orientation, we have what we call a pre-orientation website that we've created, where we've stored lots of these handouts for you, because we know it's a lot to remember. Okay, Schedule Plus, Mycerritos, checking my enrollment date. So feel free to always visit that website, and all of those materials will be there as well, of course, with this video too. So let's just take a look at a sample. So this is a sample educational plan where the counselor may leave some comments up at the top where it tells me the student is looking to complete their associate for transfer, so an AST for psychology. And they're using Plan C, which is one of our GE patterns that we go over in the orientation, because the student is looking to transfer to both UC and Cal State schools. So we always want to take a look at the notes there. And then I see that the counselor has planned the Counseling 101B for summer. So that's what the student is expected to sign up for. And then I see for fall, they have the English course that we talked about. As a psych major, psych students have to take statistics, which is our Psych 210. They have that Intro to Psych course, Psych 101, and then they have a GE course there. And they have a choice, either their History 102 or their History 103 will meet that history requirement. And that is a total of 14 units for the fall semester. So that's a full-time student. If the student is looking to be part-time, then the program requires that they take their English and their math courses, because we do need to get those completed in that first semester by the end of fall. So if you're thinking about being part-time, then we'll definitely get you into the English and the math. And then if you're looking to do full-time, you'll see a schedule very similar to this in your Mycerritos. So when it comes to registration in June, you'll get reminders about check your Mycerritos, check your ed plan for your fall schedule, and then proceed to enroll yourself in those courses. And that's where you can pick days and times and online versus on campus and things of that nature. So our fall semester, which I love about community college, has a lot of different offerings at different times. So a full semester is 18 weeks. It's that first blue bar. So make a note for yourself. The semester will start on Monday, August 16th, and it will go to Friday, December 17th. So very similar to our high school semesters. But we also have some courses that start a little later in the semester. Those are called our 15-week courses, where it's the same amount of material, but it's opposed to 18 weeks, they're in a 15-week offering. So if it's in person, the amount of time in class is a little bit longer. And then we have what we call first week and 9-week courses. And this is where you can take a class within the first 9 weeks or the second. Again, the course offering may be a little bit longer in terms of class time, but some students, right, depending on their work schedule, their life schedule, may need to have a different type of balance than our traditional 18-week calendar. So that's why we have the 9-week offerings as well as the 6-week offerings. And so this is a good time to talk to counselors about, like, I'm thinking about taking this course in 9 weeks. I have these other courses. I think I need to kind of take this class and be done with it so I can focus on these in a longer time frame. You know, I'm working, I have other family commitments. So you want to take all of that into consideration. And when you're looking at the class schedule, you will see that there are colored bars going across it, and that kind of denotes that it's a different time frame. So you'll see in our summer schedule, you'll see classes that start in May that are one color, and then you will see another colored bar that means those courses start in June, and then you'll see another for the courses that start in July. So pay attention to those little notes there, because you want to make sure that you arrive on time to your summer courses. All right, so Schedule Plus is how we search for classes. It's up in that quick links that Ms. Raquel talked about earlier. It's about 4 or 5 down, but that's where our schedule is housed. Currently, it still shows spring, which is wrapping up. And so you'll want to focus on summer if you're taking summer courses. And then towards the end of May, you will start to see fall schedule show itself, and you'll get reminders about that. And so when you're looking at the schedule, you do want to pay attention to the little notes that are allocated to each course, because especially with the fall semester, we will have courses that will be on ground, so on campus. We will have courses still through the virtual platforms of Zoom, so those will be remote. And then we will have courses that will specifically just be all online, so no required Zoom will be denoted. So you'll want to pay attention to those, because sometimes the classes then say, you know, you have a mandatory online orientation that they want you to complete, or this class is for a specific population like athletics, or if you're in our EOP&S program or honors program. So you do want to pay attention to all of those little notes. Each class has a 5-digit code, and that is the code that you will use to register in your Mycerritos. So if you haven't done registration yet for summer, these handouts will be great for you to have, so you can say, okay, how do I select a course? Which class do I need specifically? So I need counseling, but I'm looking specifically for Counseling 101B. Okay, what kind of classes do I want? One that's virtual on Zoom, that has days and times, or one that's online that's a little bit more self-paced because I have other commitments. So you'll want to take a look at all of those notes so that you can know the specifics of that particular course. Oh, here's great examples, right? So the hybrid model, and again, our college is still working on the language, but we think we're going with hybrid. We'll say that the course is, you know, partly on ground, and it'll kind of denote the days and time. So you'll want to pay attention to that. And you'll know for sure that it's on ground because you'll see a location. So like SC1A, right? So you'll see the building and the room number listed there. And then again, the remote classes are those where these are the days and times that the professor will be meeting with the class on Zoom, right? In a virtual platform, but still meeting and having those interactions and those live discussions with the professor and your classmates. And then you'll have online. And online specifically means that you don't have to log into a Zoom at a particular time, but that through our learning management platform, which is called Canvas, that the professor will post the lectures, the PowerPoints, the assignments, the discussion boards, and you will have to respond to that by a particular deadline. And then the next week, you'll have another set of assignments and workload to carry. So if that works a little bit better for you, because you don't necessarily have to be on a Zoom at a particular time, then you'll want to look for the online. But look at that note there. Hopefully you can see it. It says that orientation will take place the first day of class. And so you'll want to make sure that you are doing what the professor is requiring in terms of the orientation, so that you are meeting all the course requirements. So those notes that are underneath each course are very important. And so you want to click the little more button or expand all button to make sure you see everything about the courses you're signing up for in summer and fall, because we don't want to miss those details. All right. And then it gets to the how to enroll, right? So I got my classes, I got each of their 5-digit code. I'm ready to add those to what we call our shopping cart, and to load those into my, enrollment shopping cart. And so we have a handout on that as well, just so you know, to make sure everything is kind of checked off. And then you will proceed to step 2 once it's all in your shopping cart. And then you will finish enrolling. Now, very similar to Amazon, because it's in your shopping cart does not guarantee you a space in the course. I've seen it before where students load their shopping cart and then they forget to hit that proceed to step 2 and that final finish enrolling. And when they come back, the classes are full or closed. So please make sure as you load them in your shopping cart, and when it's your day and time to register for fall in June, that you proceed to step 2 and you finish enrolling and get those green check marks there, so that you know the course is definitely yours, you have a seat and you have a space in it. And if you receive an error message with an X, it tells you what the error is and you can go back and make the adjustment, all right? But the beauty of being in the Cerritos Complete program is that you all are enrolling earlier in the registration process. Most of our students are enrolling within that first week on roughly days 4, 5, and 6. And so you really want to take advantage of the day and time that you have to enroll, because after that, other populations and general population will start to enroll and classes will fill. So it is definitely important that you're checking your reminders, you're not missing your date, and that you're getting in your classes when it's your enrollment date and not even waiting a week later. Sometimes 1 or 2 days later, and a course could be full, especially for our popular courses in sciences and math and things of that. So please make sure you make a note when your registration comes out, and on that day and time, enroll yourself into your fall classes.
All right, so next we're going to be talking about enrolling using your Mycerritos account. So when we're back, right when you log in, we recommend that you select Student Center. Next, yeah. And then once you're on this screen again, you do want to make sure that you don't have holds and that you've taken care of all the items on your to-do list. And you want to make sure it's your appointment time, because you will not be able to enroll before then. Then you're going to go and click Enroll. And then you're going to click on the semester. If you're enrolling in that counseling class, you're selecting 21 summer because it's summer enrollment right now. And then in June, it will be fall enrollment. So you won't be able to enroll in fall until June. And then you're going to click Continue. And so like Claire talked about on Schedule Plus, you looked up the classes that you wanted and you got the 5-digit number. And so that's the screenshot in the upper right-hand corner. That's from Schedule Plus. What you're going to do is take that 5-digit number and enter it into the part where it says add to cart. And when you're reading the notes for this class, Math 112, you'll also see that you need to enroll in a second course called Math 5, and it gives you that class number. So you'll need to put both into your shopping cart or it won't let you enroll. It'll show you this screen and you're gonna wanna click yes, click the box to check wait list if class is full. And we want to reiterate that you need to make sure you're reading all the notes for this class. For example, this is online, it gives the instructor name, it's a 6-week class, 3 units, and it tells you the start and end date. So make sure you read that before you click next, and then you're gonna click next. And then it shows that the class has been added to your shopping cart. And you can see by the green circle that it's open, so you will be able to enroll in that class. The other class is closed, which means it is full and you won't be able to enroll in that class. Then you're gonna click proceed and it will show you the classes again. This is an example for a different class. This is for cosmetology. But you wanna review this information, make sure they're open and click finish enrolling. And it will show you that you are now enrolled. It'll give you the green check and it'll say success, you are enrolled in the class. If there is an error, it will give you, it'll tell you what you need to fix and it won't let you enroll until that is fixed. You could either click add another class, make payment, or check your class schedule after this. And then Clara is going to go over student expectations.
So in addition to the academic pieces that we've been going over and the enrollment and registration pieces, there's just a few other things we want you to consider as you take on this new role of college student. So communication is going to be so important. And so the program has set up a Remind app, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later, but it's C Complete 7. And so we do strongly encourage that you enroll in that so that you can receive all of the communications, not only throughout the summer, but throughout the first 2 years. We are always sending out reminders, if there's counseling drop-in, if there's a workshop, if there's an event. And so the Remind app is extremely helpful for that. And then actively checking your email. We know that as you transition out of high school, some of you may have an email associated with your high school. We encourage you to update that to a Gmail, Yahoo, Earthlink. I'm just playing on the Earthlink, but we want you to update it, right? Because throughout the summer, your high school emails will go dormant. So you want to make sure that you stay connected to the program and to the college. So you want to make sure you have an email on file that you are constantly checking. And so even though it's summer and you may not be taking any summer courses, you will want to check your email because you don't want to miss any important deadlines from the program for financial aid or from counseling or from your enrollment. A lot of information is also on the website. This will be on the website for the program. The website is always kept up to date. So please make sure you're checking the website if you have any questions about anything, because again, we don't want you to miss a requirement or miss a deadline. So when we talk about classes and we talk about the school experience, most of the studying for your college courses will happen outside of the classroom, right? So the professor may assign you a couple of chapters to read, and then when you come to class, whatever that looks like, on ground or online, the professor will support those readings and provide you additional information. So when you're thinking about setting up your schedule, being a full-time or part-time student, we also want you to think about what is your studying going to be like? When are you going to be studying? What time will be allocated to study, to go to our tutoring center? Even in the virtual format, we've had online tutoring for English and math and a host of other courses. And it's free. So you'll want to make sure you go to tutoring, or, you may have group projects in your courses and you need to have time to talk with your partners in the project, or you want to just talk to the professor in what we call office hours in a one-on-one basis about a concept or something you missed. So you want to carve out what will that other time look like as well, since most of the time for studying for college is outside of the classroom. So think about, what are your work responsibilities, or what will your work responsibilities be? What will your family commitments be? And try to create a schedule as you are planning for fall that kind of includes all of that. And then setting realistic expectations, right? Recognizing when you are your best. Some of you are early risers, so morning classes are great. We have classes that usually can start as early as 7 in the morning and go upwards till 10 at night. So when are you your best in terms of your coursework? You want to think about that. And then once you are in the fall semester, and we'll send out reminders about this, just actively engaging, turning on your camera, responding in the chat, putting your hand up. And that may not have been who you were before, but all we know is who you are now. And we are excited about this new experience and excited to be a part of your support for that. So I have students who tell me all the time, like, I never used to do this when I was in high school, and now they're putting together the study groups, or they're, forming different partnerships with people in the class as a support system. So, there's lots of resources that are available. And in the counseling class, which is why we really recommend it for summer, we go over a lot of those. So everything from like honors program and cultural programs and athletics and things of that nature, we talk about in the counseling course. So if you are also interested in being in those programs, taking it in the summer would really be a great benefit for you. And then recognizing that even in the virtual platform, many of our resources are online. And if you don't know the answer, ask someone, right? Ask the counselor, ask the professor, a staff member, someone in the program, and we can connect you to the right resources, even if we don't know the answers ourselves, all right? So just some other things to think about beyond the academics as you make this transition, and we're excited.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adrienne Sanchez, and I am a counselor in Student Accessibility Services, formerly known as Disabled Student Programs and Services. So SAS provides accommodations and services to students with disabilities to ensure equitable access to all programs and activities at Cerritos College. And so if you are a student who currently has an IEP or a 504 plan or another medical diagnosis that seriously impacts your education, then you can apply to our program to receive accommodations and services. IEPs and 504 plans do not continue in college. And so it's very important that if you want to receive those accommodations, that you apply to SAS. So how do you apply? Well, you obtain your disability documentation, your IEP, 504 plan, or the medical diagnosis in a PDF format. It's very important that it's in that format because you will need to upload it to your application. So you would want to get your most recent IEP, your most recent 504 plan, or psychoeducational report. Or you can also fill out a disability documentation form. Actually, you would have your doctor fill out that disability documentation form in place of an IEP or a 504 plan. And you would then complete the SAS new student application on the SAS website. It's a pretty short application, and you would upload your documents to that. Once you do that, you should allow 5 to 7 days for processing within our office. And then you'll receive an email with a date and time for your new student intake appointment. If that date and time don't work for you, don't worry, you can always call the office to reschedule. So many of you have attended your Falcon Edge orientation workshop, yes, and you've also gone to meet with your counselor for that 30-minute appointment on that same day. Even if you've already done that, it's very important that if you are going to be a SAS student, that you meet with a SAS counselor to review the abbreviated student education plan that you made for the summer and fall with the general counselor. It's just important that we be able to talk with you about the schedule and make sure that it's appropriate for you. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that requirements for Cerritos Complete are for students to enroll in English and math in their first semester, so in the fall, and then of course continue until you meet transfer level. However, some SAS students, not all, but some, may qualify for what we call a contract amendment, and you may have different requirements based on the recommendation of your SAS counselor. So you would still need to take those classes, but potentially you could take them in separate semesters. It just depends on you, your disability, and the interactive process you have with your counselor. Thank you. And so this is my contact information. You can email either the office at sasapply@cerritos.edu, or you can email me directly at asanchez@cerritos.edu. This is the phone number and fax number for our office and our website. I will be holding a Zoom drop-in immediately after this webinar ends. So tonight, until probably about 8:30, just depending on when we end tonight. And then again on May 10th from 3:30 to 4:30, you will receive the Zoom link in a remind text or email if you're signed up for that. And so please attend if you are a student who has an IEP, 504 plan, or other medical diagnosis, and you would like more information about student accessibility services.
All right, so we mentioned earlier about all of our support programs for different special populations. Our undocu students, our AB 540 students, our Dreamer students have significant support here on campus. We have counselors associated with the program, tons of events and programming around our undocu AB 540 Dreamer population. So again, when you are meeting with the counselor, and if you are on DOCU or AB 540, feel free again to share that with the counselor. There is a form that we usually have students fill out just to go to our admissions to help with the processing of the financial aid and the tuition. So if you feel comfortable with that, please share that with your counselor and they can direct you to this form. It's also on the admissions and records website as well as a resource. And again, counselors that work directly with the students are Rosa and Miss Lynn, and their information is down here at the bottom. And you can always feel free to take a picture and reach out to them and start connecting with them before the fall semester even begins. Other specialized programs on campus, and I know for time's sake, I won't go over all of them in detail, but we have so many. So I hope you take advantage, everything from our first year experience program. So if you're interested in going into health occupations or psychology or any of our arts programs, we have what we call a cohort of courses that students take together with professors who are working together to provide this community experience. A wonderful program for our first year students. So you can always go to our FYE website and find which courses will be offered and the details of those cohorts. We have our cultural programs. So if you're interested in Puente for the Latinx experience or your Moja for the African-American Black student experience, those are wonderful. Our athletic programs are starting to come back with conditioning and training. So if you are interested in playing a sport, you'll want to reach out to that coach to talk about recruiting. We have our teacher track program. So if you're looking to teach the little ones, like in child development or elementary or even junior high and high school, that would be a great program to connect with and to take courses with other students who are looking to teach Our STEM program is the same way. Our Project Hope for those looking to go into the health occupations. We have an international student services to support our international students. For our parents, we have our CalWorks program or our CARE program. We have our EOP&S program for our first generation students. We have our honors program. Like Miss Adrian just mentioned, we have our SAS program, tons of resources, and you can be a part of multiple programs. I have students who are in the cultural program, in Cerritos Complete, who play a sport, and all of them have counselors in the programs, and a lot of them have other financial support like book vouchers or transportation tokens, or they do programming that supports the students throughout the time that they're in the program. So again, this is the time as many of these programs are recruiting. So to go to their website, see what their application is, this is the time to do that. And so I believe it was mentioned earlier that counseling, admissions, and financial aid have daily Zooms where you can hop on and ask those quick questions. So this is the admissions information. I saw that there were some questions in there about the $2 fee or about any forms. You can always hop onto the admission Zoom and they will help you and support you with that. And then, of course, we have the counseling Zooms Monday through Friday, 10 to 12 and 2 to 4. And you can hop on and ask questions. And then in the evenings on Mondays and Thursdays, if you want to schedule a longer appointment and it's not a quick question, you can do that on our appointment website as well. And then again, if you haven't done orientation yet, please make sure you sign up for that. They are filling quickly as many students are trying to get it done before that June registration. So please try to get that in your calendar, and then you will follow up and do that one-on-one appointment as well.
Great, thank you. And we just wanted to close out tonight with the Cerritos Complete resources. You can always email us at cerritoscomplete@cerritos.edu. We have our phone number as well, and our website we update. So please check our website. All our requirements are on there as well. And we do have Zooms. We have been available Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 1 to 5 p.m. So you can feel free to drop in for any of those if you need assistance. We're also recorded this and we will be emailing it out to everybody in the program. So if you want to pause the video and make sure you're following the steps correctly, we will be sending that out tomorrow. I think there's just a couple more questions in the Q&A that we'll get to answering. But thank you everybody for staying late tonight. And we really appreciate you joining us to learn more about Cerritos Complete and your requirements.
Thank you, everyone.
Miss Clara, there's a counseling question in the chat. I'm wondering if you could answer.
Oh, yes, Ms. Colleen. Which one did you want to, or did you want me to answer it on the chat?
Yeah, in the chat is fine.
Okay,
It's the top one. I think we were reserving it for you.
Okay, thank you.